Well, welcome back to the Soho Society out here on Soho Radio. That was Changes by David Bowie, played in, whilst thinking about the closure of Wardour News, which will close on the 25th of May. So I recommend anyone who's a real magazine junkie and has a passion for independent magazines to get down there before they close. Check out the amazing stock that Raj Patel and his fellow owners of the shop have got on offer, and really have a chance to say your final farewells and thank you, because he's done he's worked for 34 years tirelessly, often 16 hours days for Soho. And many people who run small independent businesses here don't receive perhaps the proper thanks and gratitude from the customers who feel that they're perhaps going to be here forever because they're so used to coming to Soho and finding that the business is still here. As I said at the beginning of the show, we're now going to be joined by the director of a new play called The Swallow, or I'm going to ask the director to say it in Spanish because my Spanish pronunciation is not great. Paula Paz. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. I mean, we were saying a little bit off air now, the theatre that that the play is going to be performed at, the Cervantes Theatre, is relatively new.
It's very new, yes. We opened the Cervantes Theatre a year and a half ago in Sodark, in the area of Sodark, under an railway arch. And yes, what we do is Spanish and Latin American theatre in Spanish and in English, which is very new to London.
And so for this play is quite a powerful piece, that originally inspired by the horrific attacks in the Orlando nightclub, killing 49 people, I believe, that died. So how did you come to select this play and what was your reasons for wanting to put this play on?
So I knew the playwright Guillaume Clouin because I saw one of his plays here in London before, and I got to have in my hands his latest script that hadn't been performed before, which was The Swallow, La Golondrina in Spanish, and I immediately fell in love with it. It's a very powerful and kind of heartbreaking piece of theatre that talks, as you said, that it was written after as a response to the Orlando attacks in 2016, and he had this immediate feeling of, we have to do something. I have to respond to this in my own ways, which is writing theatre, and basically he wrote a beautiful piece that talks about what is left behind after one attack like this, the families, the loved ones, and how people deal with loss.
Because one of the comments on the press release that talks about it says, what makes us human? For Amelia, a wounded mother, what makes us human is the capacity to feel others' pain as our own. When an indiscriminate attack happens, we are all victims who have to deal with the same crossroads, hate or love. Our world depends on the direction we decide to take, and it's for many that those issues not only relate to the attack in Orlando, but they relate to so many of the challenges that are taking place not only in the UK but across the world today.
Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, there are many attacks or conflicts happening that in the end you can have many different views or thoughts in religion, politics, and socially, but it all comes to we are human beings, and we can relate, and we have to relate to each other in the pain that we feel in how, we are humans, so we need to respect and carry on, respect our own kind of thoughts, even if we are different, but kind of being together. And I think that's something that the play talks about. There are two characters in the play, the mother and a lover of a boyfriend of someone that died at the attack. And even though they think very differently, at the end of this kind of evening together, they come to realize that they have more things in common than they thought at the beginning.
Because they come together for a particular reason, don't they?
Yes, the Ray, or Ramon in the Spanish version, he comes at the beginning to Emilia's house to take a singing lesson, because Emily is a singing teacher. And then, we don't know at the beginning why. Then we'll see. I won't tell very much because I don't want to give away. But then the story starts to unfold, and we start to see why Ray comes to this house. That is not only because of the singing lesson, and what's the reason to this kind of meeting and confrontation that Emily doesn't know at the beginning, and then there are many turning points, very, very interesting, and then she realizes at the end why they are meant to be together, talking about these issues, and how somehow they begin to heal.
So when audience come to see this production, what can they expect? They will have obviously these two cast members. Is there music and singing as part of?
No, it's a very text-based play. There is music about that is composed by Nico Casal. It's a piece that is called The Swallow. It gives this song that gives the name of the play. It's a new song, so the playwright wrote that it had to be created for the play, and it's kind of the excuse, singing this song as an excuse. But there is only one song in the play that was composed by Spanish composer Nico Casal, and it's very much about it's text-based and the incredible acting skills of the two actresses. Hand to hand.
And it's called The Swallow. Why The Swallow?
The swallow is a bird that comes in spring and then migrates. So it has kind of the feeling of, in spring everything starts to flourish. The swallow comes and is kind of after winter and a terrible period. The swallow comes and everything starts to blossom it's a kind of better period for everyone. So that talks about the people that after the attack, the families that had to deal with that.
And when it comes to the audiences, we spoke a little bit before how, when these horrific attacks took place, the whole of Old Compton Street was filled with people, who were there to celebrate love, and with a beautiful choir. Are you hoping that by putting on this play, you'll help audiences to think slightly differently about some of the issues that are raised?
Definitely. I think that one of the main issues, not only in the Orlando attack, but the play talks about, is that many people thought that it was just a terrorist attack, but not a hate crime against the LGBT community. And for us, it's very important to raise awareness that hate crimes against the LGBT community exist, are current. So we need to give visibility to that and to call certain things by their name, and to see and raise awareness. So that's one of the main things that the play talks about.
Because we're aware in London when particular hate crime that happens, it often appears in the press. Are there kind of similar occurrences in Spain, or?
Yes and no, but interesting enough, in Spain, in terms of hate crimes and LGBT targeted hate crimes, Spain is very open. For example, Madrid is very open, and we have Chueca, which is a neighborhood in Madrid that is kind of very LGBT, and where everyone is welcome and is vibrant. Is very similar to Soho, I will say. But funnily enough, in the latest, because of what is happening in the world right now, hate crimes are rising in Madrid as well against the LGBT community. But we don't hear about that often. It's just because of the statistics, but it's not in the news. It's not out there for us to realize and to try to make changes.
At the theatre, are you finding that your audiences are Spanish as well as English? Obviously the play is on for a week, finishing this weekend in Spanish and then in English.
Yes, we have a very interesting mix of audience members, because for the Spanish performances we have obviously Spanish and Latin American people that live here in London that can come to see the play in their language, but also a lot of Londoners that speak Spanish or are related to Spanish culture that enjoy coming to see a play in Spanish. Is something that is rare, even though in London you can find almost everything. But seeing a play in Spanish is unique. And also in the English performances, we have a lot of people that love new writing. For example, this is a new writing piece.
He's a multi-award-winning playwright who's had his plays translated into many languages, isn't he? I mean, this is...
Exactly, yes. He's international, and his plays, as you said, have been awarded and translated to many languages. So we had the pleasure to have his latest play. It was the world premiere in the theatre, so it's a huge pleasure to have it in both languages, and here in the theatre, in the Cervantes Theatre.
And for those who'd like to go and see it, the performances are 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90 minutes with no interval. Ticket prices are £20 and £15 concession. At the address is Arch 26, the Union Arches, and that's 229 Union Street, which is sort of between London Bridge and Southwark Station, is it?
Yes, it's 2 minutes walk from Southwark Station, very close to the Jan Vic, to the Tate Modern. Yes.
Oh, fantastic area to be in,
yes,
really.
Yes, it's a very exciting area.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are going to play the music from that you mentioned earlier. It was composed by Nico...
By Nico Casal, yes.
And that's the piece, The Swallow. So let's... sorry. I just want to ensure that I don't double layer it up with something else. But yes, and this piece is called... in Spanish, it's
La Golondrina.
Thank you. Well, that was The Swallow there from the the currently showing play The Swallow, which is at the Paula, can you just... Is it Paula or Paula? Sorry.
Paula.
Paula,
you can
sorry.
call me Paula.
We're in that in the midst of the English-Spanish, as you've said with the characters' names today, it's Ray or Ramon. Yes. It's all kind of, the sort of... instant translations going on here,
and multicultural.
Yes. Well, it's the beauty of language, isn't it? I mean, we were saying during the song that the audience do have the opportunity to go and see the play in both languages.
Yes.
And maybe for those who don't speak Spanish, it's perhaps an idea to see it for some of the plays in the future, ones to see in English and in Spanish. But for those who'd like to go and see it in Spanish, it's on in Spanish until...
In Spanish until Saturday.
Right.
Yes, this week. And then from the 7th until the 26th in English.
And the cast is two different casts, aren't there?
So there is the actresses that play Emily's character are different. One plays in Spanish and the other one in English. And David Luque, the actor, plays in both languages. He's bilingual and he plays the character in Spanish and in English.
Wow.
Yes.
That must be a real treat as a director.
Yes. It is fantastic because there are two different plays in a way. They are the same play, but the way they relate to each other, the language informs the play as well, and is very interesting to see both.
And do you know what your project will be after this one?
So the next play that I will be directing will be in June at the Cervantes Theatre as well, and it's called The Little Pony. Yes, and it's about bullying.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're a pretty fearless theatre that's not afraid to tackle big issues.
Yes, big issues. I think it's important. I think that theatre is a tool for change, and we have to use it.
Fantastic. Well, I strongly recommend listeners go and see the play The Swallow. I think from the music we've just heard, absolutely beautiful, but also tackling incredibly important issues here, and the decision really that is all too prevalent in the world at the moment to decide whether we choose hate or love, and really, yes. Love is the way, isn't it?
Love is the way, always.
Most definitely. All right, well, we're going to finish up. My producer has just disappeared. Our show here on Soho Radio, but as Leslie said earlier in the show, it's the day for the local elections. It's time to get out there, cast your vote, and be part of the change.
Yes, if you want to change, and make certain the people around you go as well. It's no good grumbling about the things. You've got to do something about it. You must vote today.
It's right. Sorry, I was expecting my producer to be here. I just think that was the most gorgeous piece of music. They can get them from the